Well, this is kind of off topic, but I read that during your first concert when you were 12, you got trapped in a mosh pit.
Yeah. Yeah, my brothers, I have two older brothers, and they're a good amount older than me. So they're like 9 and 10 years older than me. They were in their, they were in their early 20s at the time, and they took me to see the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh,
Um, and at the time, the Smashing Pumpkins were doing two different sets. They were doing like a more subdued, like acoustic set, and then they would do and the only reason I remember this is because I was just talking to someone who is a good amount older than me who saw the show as well, who like remembered this. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense because I was and standing there and it was like, totally calm. The Billy Corgan was up on stage playing the acoustic guitar and it was just like relax and chill. And I looked at my brothers and I was like, this is nothing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that it's going to be crazy. This is like nothing happening. And they were like, oh, okay. Oh, we'll stand right here and you just wait until it happens. And then I guess like they were doing an acoustic set and then a heavy set. And
yeah.
as soon as the heavy set started, it was like I thought I was gonna die. Like I was just getting like my feet were off the ground and I was just getting like rocked back and forth. My brothers were like surrounding me, like trying to get me to the front, and then I just remember getting pulled out by a security guard. And then we went to the back and I just like sat on their shoulders as they like passed a joint in between.
And you were 12,
I was 12. Yeah.
but
Yep.
you loved it though.
Oh,
I
I
think
loved it.
most,
I loved it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And like, I was definitely like, I need to get out of here right now. But I like, my brothers were the ones who took me to every concert until I was old enough to go on my own.
yeah.
And once I started going on my own, then I started going in the mosh pits myself.
Yeah. Well, it sort of introduced you to what a concert could be. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like start doing it until I was big enough for sure.
yeah.
Because I still, at like 13 and 14, I'm like, but then, once I hit like 17, 18, I'm like, all right, I want to go get some bruises right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you did theater for a while when you were younger, when you
Yeah.
were a kid, and you did it for a long time. You started out at a very early age. So, do you
Yeah,
remember your first theatrical experience?
I do. Actually, well, the one that I say is I was 10 and I was Toto in The Wiz at one of the local high schools here in
Hmm.
Jersey. And but that wasn't actually the first one. That was my first musical, but when I was 7, um in second grade, I remember and I was dancing at like 2.5. My mom put me in dance class and like I had been dancing, and I remember being like on the playground and my teacher came up to me and was like, how do you think you are at like memorizing lines? And I was like, well, I memorize dance routines, so I think I could memorize lines. And we did like I mean, I'd have to ask my mom about it because I very barely remember this, but we did a very watered down version of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Hmm.
And I don't even remember if I was Helen or Helena, but I was one of them at like 7. So that was the first play I ever did. But yeah, my
Wow.
first musical, I was 10, Toto and The Wiz. And then from there, like from doing that musical, I just, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to perform on stage, not realizing, that down the line performing on stage for me would be a very different thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just did every high school show, every community theater show. I went to college for acting. Yeah, I did, I worked as, I did a national tour. I worked up at Westchester Broadway Theater. Um, and then, I mean, the whole time I was kind of writing lyrics, but not really, and loving bands, like, anything I could get any music I could get my hands on, I was buying CDs and buying tapes. And, even when I was on tour, when I got my paycheck, the first like chance I got, once I got my paycheck, I would go to a record store and buy like 10 CDs.
Yeah.
So I didn't save a ton of money on tour because I was just
No.
buying music.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just kind of started taking songwriting a little bit more seriously. I wound up working with a producer, and like he was terrible, but and we wrote really crappy songs, but I was like performing out. And a friend of mine who came to see me suggested that I needed a band. And I think in hindsight he meant I needed like a backing band, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I want to be in a band. I want to be like No Doubt, like in a
Yeah.
band. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. And that's kind of the start of it.